Hello everyone, it's Maria here from Pebbly Rose Paper Crafting. I am an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Sydney, Australia. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I would really like to thank all of my viewers who watch my channel and who subscribe, and also those that leave comments. I really do appreciate your support. Without your support, I will not be doing this channel, so I would like to thank you all so much for your kind words and your support. It really means the world to me, and of course to my customers, thank you all so much. I do appreciate your business very much. So today I'm going to be sharing a card that is spring themed. I'm participating in a team challenge for Renegade Crafters, and the theme for this month is Hello Spring. So what came to mind for me was First Frost, and yeah, but I'll be using them in more, you know, spring summery type colours. So I'll be using this stamp set along with the matching dies. This is one of my favourite bundles out of the new holiday catalogue. So if you haven't gotten this, you will love it. I highly recommend it. I'm going to use the Takeout Treats stamp set, and I'll just be using the thank you sentiment from that. I really love the font on that, and you can use it for many occasions. So this stamp set, even on its own, is actually quite good. So I quite like this stamp set. I'm using an oldie but a goodie, the Swirly Scribbles Thinlits Dies. These coordinate with the Swirly Bird stamp set, and I'll be using this die today for that one. And I'm also using one of my favourite embossing folders in the annual catalogue, and it's the Pinewood Planks Dynamic Textured Impressions Embossing Folder. I absolutely love this folder. So we'll get started on this card. It's really quite simple but quite springy and beautiful, and I quite like it. So what you will need is a piece of thick Whisper White cardstock. This is 4 inches across by 8 inches, and I've scored it in the middle at 4, so I'm just going to burnish that score line with my bone folder. And we'll leave that to the side for now. I've got a piece of Whisper White cardstock, which is 3 3/4 by 3 3/4 square. This will layer on top, and what we'll do to start off with is we're going to emboss that with the Pinewood Planks embossing folder. So I'll just bring that out, and we'll get started on this card. So I'll just pop this right here, and I'll just bring up my Big Shot. And what you will need is just your Big Shot platform, and you'll just need one cutting pad for this. Just want to make sure that's my straight one. Yep. Right, this is my straight one now. Okay, and we'll just put this through. You only need one cutting pad because this is the thick, it's almost 3D looking embossing folder. I'll just make sure I squared that correctly on here. Yeah. Okay, that's squared on nicely. Okay, and I'll crank that through. We will be using the Big Shot again pretty soon, but for now we'll just take it off the table whilst we do our stamping. And this is it embossed. I love that. That's the embossed side, and that's the debossed side. So I'm going to be using the debossed side, and we're going to be putting that on top there, and it just adds a really nice texture. I love that. So we'll just leave it to the side for now. And what we're going to use next is I've got a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, and we'll just do some stamping. So I'll be using the large rose there and the smaller flower there, and we'll be using those in various colours, and the colours I'm using today are Flirty Flamingo, Pineapple Punch and Petal Pink. They actually look quite nice together. So I'm going to grab my Flirty Flamingo ink pad first, and I'm going to stamp this once, Okay, that turned out beautiful. Okay, put that to the side. I've got some ink on my stamp set there. Oh yeah, I'll need this. And next I'm going to use my Petal Pink. I'll pop that there. That turned out a bit splotchy, didn't it? Do that again. Don't really like the way that one turned out. Let's dry that off a little. Put that one up here. That's better. That just shows up the detail a bit more. I just had a bit too much ink there, so I just did another one. I lightly tapped it, and it just shows more of the detail when you do it like that. And next I'm going to use my Pineapple Punch for my larger flower. I'll stamp that towards the bottom. Okay. And down here. Okay, that turned out really lovely. And clean that off so I don't get ink all over myself. So we'll leave those off to the side for now. Now I'm going to grab some Mint Macaron. Love this colour. And I'm going to use Bermuda Bay ink, and we're going to stamp this image over here. So I'll stamp that. Okay, and I'll just stamp that off right here. Okay, that turned out lovely. So, and then also, I'm going to get my Stamparatus out, and I'm going to line up my sentiment down the bottom of this crumb cake piece of cardstock, and I'm going to line up the thank you with that. I'm going to have that down the bottom. So I'll just line it up where I think it will look good. But then again, I've got to line it up with the Stamparatus to make sure it's nice and straight. Oh, and don't forget also, you don't need all these mats on there. So just do that there. And I'll just check underneath, and I'm going to use the grid to make sure that it is straight. And as far as I am aware, I'll just bring this a little bit over. That looks straight now. Sorry, you weren't in view there. I was just lining up my stamp with the grid lines. Now the grid lines you can't see on camera very well, and they are a little faint, so you have to kind of, yeah, I guessed it okay, and it seems to be straight to me, but time will tell when I stamp it. I'm going to use Early Espresso ink for that, and I'll just put that right in the corner. Okay, I'll just be a little bit not very heavy-handed because that's got quite a bit of ink on there. So I'll just put that right in the corner, and I'll just stamp. And actually that turned out really perfect. See that? Beautiful. So I'll leave that now, clean this up, get rid of my Stamparatus, and we are done with the stamping. Got that over and done with really quickly. Now with the sentiment, I'm just going to bring my trimmer, and we're going to trim that down. So we'll trim that down. First off, I'm going to trim off a little bit off the bottom, just because I want it pretty thin. Okay, so just trim that off there, and then I'm going to trim that off close enough, and there we go. And that is my thank you right there. And I'll leave this because I'm going to see where I'm going to put it at the end and how much of a gap I want. Alright, so I'll leave that there. Alrighty. So, what we'll do now is we will grab our matching framelits and we're going to start putting them together. So you need the big flower, and luckily we get two of these little flowers as well. And we need this die and that one too. So I'll start just positioning these dies according to the stamp, and I'm going to stick them down with a little bit of painter's tape. I quite like doing that. So what I do is I tend to reuse my painter's tape until it has no more stick left in it. So I'll do this one first. And there is a little bit of like a white gap around it. So I'll just position that there. And then I'll come back and I'll stamp the other one as well. And then with this one, I'm going to put that over the top of this. I'll just grab some more tape. Oops. And I'll just put that one there too. And I'm going to run these through my big shot. Oh, and along with that one, hopefully that will all fit. If not, doesn't matter. I'll do it on the second round for those. So I'll run that through. So I'll just grab my big shot. And I'll pop my dies on there. Put this there. Okay. I like to go over it again just so that I can catch everything. So that's that time done. And this cut out beautifully as well. Just bring that up really carefully. Oops. Okay, and that turned out really lovely. Isn't that beautiful? I love that we can, you know, we can do these things, cut these out easily without too much trouble. It's really good. Okay, get that excessive painter's tape off. And now I'm going to put this back through again and just position this so I can cut that. So I'll do that on that side, and then with this crumb cake, I'm going to grab my Swirly Scribbles Thinlits, and I'm going to grab this one over here, and I'll just pop that over there. I'll bring back my big shot. Cut that. Okay. And then that is it with the big shot. Alright. So we'll bring all these back around here, and we're going to take off all of the tape and see how beautifully these dies cut through. How gorgeous. Just beautiful. Okay, and that one. That cut out beautifully too. And I like that this looks, you know, spring, like spring. So I quite like this. So that's cut out. All right, just bear with me for 1 minute. I forgot to bring my die brush and I'll be back. Okay, so I've just got my die brush now and I'm just going to use that to just release the die cut. And look at how beautiful that and intricate that cut is. It's just beautiful. Love that. I love the die brush. It generally works very well for me, so I have no issues with it. Okay. So just run that through there now, and then I'll just carefully peel that off. Okay, and that peeled off nicely. And I'll just get rid of those excess pieces. Got any more? Nope. Oh, yeah, there's one more here. And if that doesn't work, you just get your pokey tool or your scissors, whatever you've got on hand at the moment. Got rid of that and it's all good. Okay. So that's done. So just clear the dies here for a second. Put those to the side. Now I'll just bring my card base. Okay, so what I'll do with this now is I'm going to layer that on top of my card base, my embossed piece there. So I'll just put a bit of glue. You can use whatever adhesive you have on hand. Tombow is very good, PVA is good, snail, whatever you wish. Whatever you've got on hand, just use it. I like liquid glue because it gives me the time to, you know, put it on properly without making a mess. I'll just give that a hold down for a minute. Okay, now that's stuck on, beautifully layered. Now I'm going to bring my Swirly Scribble. Looks like, I like that it looks kind of like a wreath. So I'm going to put some glue over the top of this in places. Not over the top, but underneath. I can't speak today. My apologies. Generally, I'm lost for words, which is terrible. So, we'll put this over here. And what we'll do now is we'll also stick this gorgeous, this greenery here. Just put some glue again. Just dot it in small places. And that's cut in mint macaron. I love that. This was actually, this colour combination and everything was inspired by my daughter's coverlet. We found it at Pottery Barn, and I quite liked the combination, so this inspired my card today. So with this piece that we cut out earlier, what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off just the leaves. So I'll just trim off the leaves. And trim that off there. And with this one I'll just clean it up a little bit because it's got a jagged edge. Okay, so that looks nice now. So we can leave this for another project, so don't throw that bit out. I'm just going to leave it for another project. So what I'll do now is I'll start positioning my little flowers, and I think they look good like that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put glue just in the middle of them, and I want to leave the outside of them free so that I can tuck in the flowers, the leaves afterwards. So just again in the middle, so just pop some glue in the middle there. Then I'm going to put that over the top there, and then I'll put one here. Okay, and I think that looks very pretty. Now you can use whatever sentiment you wish. I'm using thank you because these will be my thank you cards for this month, and we're going to put the sentiment up here. And I think it looks really pretty like that. I love that. So what I will do is I'll deal with that later. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to apply some glue just on the underside of the leaves, and we're just going to tuck it in. So I'll tuck in one here, which is why I wanted to leave the edges of the flowers blank without glue, so you can tuck things in. Okay, and then this one I'm going to put over there. Okay, I'll use my tweezers for this. Oops. Now you can choose as well to pop them up on a dimensional, but I quite like them kind of flat. They still do have dimension. Because I didn't stick them flat right down, they have a little bit of dimension, so it looks good. And I'll grab that one, and I'll just use a blob of glue right down the bottom of this one. And I'm going to turn this upside down. Sorry, and I'm going to tuck that right in underneath here. Okay, and I think that looks really pretty, don't you? I love that. Okay, so with our thank you sentiment, I'm going to pop that up here, and I'll just trim off about that much. So I'll do it as straight as possible. There we go, nice clean cut. And I'm going to stick that thank you with some glue. Okay. And I'm going to pop that up there. And I'll stick that right down. And that is my card for today. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. I really love the spring feel of this card, and as I said, the blog, not the blog hop, but the team challenge inspired this card very much, as well as my daughter's coverlet, which features these colours. So yeah, I just love this colour combination, and I hope you do too. And I think having that embossing folder, the wood grain embossing folder, really adds a nice touch to this. Now, of course, you can decorate the inside. I'm going to leave mine blank for now, but that's something you can do yourselves afterwards if you wish. So I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. All the products featured today. The First Frost bundle, love this bundle. I think it's a must-have. The Takeout Treats is also very versatile, and I love, you can use the sentiments not only for the little takeout box, but you can also use it for your cards and for any tags, whatever you wish. And these too, these are beautiful dies. They're absolutely beautiful, and they coordinate with the Swirly Bird stamp set. Or So Swirly, I've forgotten what it's called now. Anyway, I'll put the name up there somewhere. So all these can be purchased through my online store at pepperlyrose.stampinup.net. If you have any questions, please use the Contact Me section of my online store, and I will respond to your email within the 24-hour period. And as well as if you'd like to purchase from me as well, you may do so through my online store at pepperlyrose.stampinup.net. Thank you all so much for taking the time out of your day to watch, and I really, really appreciate it, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.